Too bad. We'll do a road trip. Crystal, we'll do a road trip to Tennessee to go visit her. How's that when she starts her new job?
Yes, I love Tennessee.
Yeah. It's beautiful there. We can go hiking.
Oh.
I'm from Nashville. What area is she going to be in?
Kingsport.
Oh, yeah, East Tennessee. Nice. I'm in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee.
Okay, I think that's like 4 hours, right, from where she is?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, around 4.
All right. Well, we'll definitely plan a Nashville trip. I'm sorry?
Yeah. I said congratulations. I'm excited for her.
Thank you. She's working at Eastman Chemical.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Chemical engineer.
I have 2 boys. My boys are graduating high school. I have twin boys, and they're only 2, and they graduate high school this week. So I'm trying to get used to that.
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wait till your son starts talking about their retirement.
One step at a time here. One step at a time.
Right. All right. Well, I don't think Paul has joined us yet. So a couple quick things while we're waiting for him. Let's see. Thank you, first off, everybody, for being here. I know today there's a lot of conflicting meetings and things going on across the country. So I appreciate you being here and choosing to make this part of your education and networking with us. And feel free, when you see somebody on here, if you see where they're from and you've got maybe a need or you don't have a referral agent in that area, feel free to reach out to them. Put it in the chat, and you guys can do a little cross-chatting while we're doing this, do a little networking. We did a social media class a couple weeks ago with Bev Knight. I see a couple of you that were definitely on there. If you were not on there and you're interested in it, if you want to send me an email, I will be happy to email you the recording. We cut it a little short. It was going to be a 2-hour, but we saw people dropping off. It was a lot of information. So if you do want an advanced class, she's willing to do that as well. So I have the original class that I can share with you. And then if you want a little more advanced class, it'll probably start like midway. Like that class we did about an hour and a half. So like the last half an hour, we may redo part of that to make everybody comfortable when we do the second class. So just let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And let's see, today we changed this up a little bit. I'm going to just let me text Paul and see where he is at. We don't see him on here, right?
Yeah, I'm not seeing him. There's a number that doesn't have a name. I'm not sure who that is.
Okay. Maybe Kristen can give him a little hand here. Okay. All right. So, originally we were going to have DJ on, which I'm a huge, huge DJ fan. I don't know if you guys know DJ or not, but he is an amazing agent. He's an amazing person. Love spending time with him. He is going to join us in another month. So either July or August, so we're absolutely going to get him back on. I wanted to grab Paul because part of why I chose him was we actually just co-authored a book together. So pretty exciting. It's a book called Secrets of Top Luxury Agents. And Crystal, do you have the link that you can throw in the chat?
I do. I'll send it now.
Oh, okay, cool. So we just, there's 23 agents that we all got together and we put this book together about luxury. And it is, I believe there's 13 different companies or brokerages related. So it's not just a Keller Williams book. It is, a great cross section of different brokerages to get a different points of view. And it is across the country. So there's agents in the book that are from California. I think there's some Texas, New England, obviously New York is a big one, and then Florida as well. So that's a great opportunity right now. It just came out and it's already hit a couple of the bestseller lists, and it is a 300-page book. so much good information. Like, I'm dying to read it. I haven't even read all the chapters from the other agents yet. So we'll get that link to you. And if you're interested, it is via Kindle. And then also you can buy the softcover book at this time on either Amazon or at Barnes & Noble. So that's exciting. And Paul is one of the chapters in there along with me. And we still don't have Paul. Have we still lost Paul?
I'm not seeing him.
Yikes. All right, let me give him a call and see what's happening. Paul? You're on mute.
Oh, you know what? Is he under Kristen's account?
Oh,
maybe
that's him. Yeah.
Oh, that's him. Okay. Here we go.
There we go.
There he is. How's Paul today?
Doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Awesome. So I haven't really done a big introduction. I was just telling everybody how we switched it up from DJ, who will get him in later in the year, and that we wanted to get you on since the luxury book just came out last week. And so the timing is perfect. We don't want to just talk about the luxury book. We're going to pick your brain and dig into a little bit about you, but also wanted to just mention the book. We shared the link with them. So we'll talk a little bit more about the book later on, but Paul is out of Boston, which ironically, he actually sells properties literally right down the street from where I grew up, and my parents still live in the same house that they bought 50 years ago. So maybe one day, Paul, you'll get to sell that house for them.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have to do a lot of fixing up before then, but good luck to you when you get that.
For sure.
Anyway, so Paul, I'm super excited to have you here also because you've got a very different story than everybody else that we've had. So, we've had a lot of people that have different backgrounds, and I love that, always looking for a variety, because what resonates with one person may not resonate with another. So what you do may be great for me, but it may not be great for Scott. Whereas what DJ does may be great for Nicole, but not great for Crystal. So it's always fun to have different aspects and different avenues and see what resonates with what people. And I know that you're a big part of your business is working with athletes, which is, that's like a super sexy part of this business, I think. And you've got some other really interesting things that you do, like with aviation and things like that. So that being said, I'm going to just toss the ball to you for a second if you want to just tell us a little bit about your business.
For sure. I've been in business for about 20 years, 10 of which working with athletes and celebrities. About 10, 11 years ago, it was a family reunion, and there was a panel of great agents who worked with athletes and celebrities. One of the agents spoke about how she just sold Kevin Durant's house. And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I had already kind of sold some unique properties and worked with some great architects, and I thought I could do that. So it started to be more purposeful, and it started with one Patriots player who was renting from a colleague of mine in Charlotte. When he came up here, he said, "Oh, Paul's, can do this for you. Could talk to him." And it started with him, and then it kind of snowballed into other teammates, other sports, other agencies. In a weird way, I find sports similar to military. I think it's a hard network to crack, and it, as it should, it takes a lot of time to earn their trust and their respect. But once you do, you're the guy, you're in. If somebody, I feel like they both lead very interesting lifestyles where with athletes, if somebody in your locker room says, oh yeah, Paul's a great guy. I've worked with him. He's straight. Like, you can trust him. That's all you need. I think similar to military, if you've served with somebody you've been downrange and somebody you've been, shoulder to shoulder with and trusted your life to says, Paul's the guy or Sandra is the girl, that's really all the endorsement you need. So it's hard to break into that circle. But once you do, it becomes much easier with some of those clientele.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. So talk to us a little bit about how you broke in. Like, I think it's cool. You got your first lead was really from your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
So many people, they get one listing or they get one client in, you know, a luxury client or one superstar, and that's it. That's where it drops. So how did you take that one and really make it into where you're at now?
I think it partially was organic, just developing a relationship with that person. Because again, when they're coming to your market, they typically don't know anyone or very few people. They might know a couple of guys from college. They might know somebody from the same agency. But you're really the first person who is sort of hands-on with them in that marketplace. So, and this isn't always the case, but there's a huge opportunity there to just introduce them to your city. I view Boston as my city. So when they come in, I'm going to let them know, where to go out, where are the best restaurants, where not to go out. And then I usually offer to take them out for, kind of their first dinner in Boston. Most will agree. Some cases I'll get guys their first lobster roll they've ever had in their life. But it's kind of building that relationship. And then oftentimes that just morphs into, oh, well, I'm going out with some of the guys next week. Why don't you come by? I'm having, all of my position, all the running backs coming over next week. You should really come by. And that's how it just kind of organically rolls into, oh, okay, he's the real estate guy. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I need a place too. And like I said, it can snowball very quickly, just from one or two, building that relationship organically, helping them become acclimated to the city. Because again, you're really one of the first points of contact. People think it's the team, and a lot of times it's not. It's really, you getting them settled, have a huge opportunity to really help them, and really build value, with what you provide.
Right. Right. So you're really more, I'm going to use the word a concierge service. You aren't just finding them a home. You are giving them an entire experience of welcoming them to their new area, and really being part of their life, not just being the agent.
For sure. I remember the first client, after we finally got them settled into a house, the wife said, well, what do we do now? What do we do without you, Paul? And I said, I never go anywhere. I'm always here. And I always say, use me as a resource, like a lot of the guys do. Whatever you need a tailor, you need a barber, you need a reservation. Let me know. I can't promise every single time I can do it, but 9.5 times out of 10, we'll make sure you're connected to the right people. And again, that's just very powerful because again, like you said, you sort of, I guess you do become part of their life. And not that that's, I guess, intentional, but you do, you become their resource, for a city they're not familiar with. So.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because, I've heard agents say, you know what, it's not my job to give them a tour of the city. It's not my job to find them, the school. It's not my job to do this. I'm here to sell them a house. Like I literally hear agents say that all the time. And I would say they're making a huge mistake by being that narrow-minded. I think that they sometimes think it takes too much time to do this. I can't sell another house. But what you're saying is you build those relationships and then you'll get even better sales and better people and by growing all of those services.
Right. I mean, you're investing in the relationship. So, we only have so many hours in the day, but you're investing that time and you're hoping that when that property comes back for sale down the road, you're hoping that you're able to help them in different markets. Unfortunately, Boston is a marketplace where not a lot of guys want to actually buy and own. Some do. Okay. A lot will rent, but they're buying in their home market. They're buying in vacation markets. So you can be the person if you become their real estate guy. I had an athlete yesterday ask me, "Oh, can you do like other parts of the country?" I said, "Absolutely." I said, "I can absolutely connect you with the right people that if you need to be in Houston or LA or wherever the case may be, absolutely. I'm very hands-on with those kind of relationship handoffs, but I said, absolutely. We can make sure really almost anywhere in the world, we can help you with that. So you're investing in that relationship also to build the credibility. You're dealing with a demographic that from a very early age, high school, maybe sooner, people have always wanted things from them. People have wanted tickets. People have wanted just the hype of being around them. They've always taken from them. So, you have to go in and really provide a lot of value and show that you're really there to give and to be helpful, before you can expect to get anything. But if you can get over that hump, and build a credibility, again, it can snowball very quickly to other guys, working with their agency, working with their financial advisor, who have, multitudes of other clients. Again, I don't think it's a waste of time. I just look at it as it's an investment of time to hopefully future return, from that relationship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I love that you look at, like, you really cherish the outbound referral opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not selling them a house where you are, you're getting business from referring them. And even that will bring you more business as referral agents will send things to you. And as their teammates, oh, you bought a property in Massachusetts, in Maine, and Paul referred you to that agent. That's great. Can I get their number?
Right. I mean, I'm super jealous of agents in California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, because those are the markets that guys, independent of what team they play for or where they're from, those are the 4 markets I see where guys buy pretty regularly. So there's a lot of referrals going out to those marketplaces because, that's where they live in the off season. That might be where they're from. It's where they're buying their mother a home, which has just happened. So those are really good markets to be in. Unfortunately, not many guys stay here in the off season or buy for their parents up here, but enough do. But there is a lot of outbound opportunity for sure.
Right. All right. Well, I'm here for you, Paul. I'm here for you.
All right. I have a client who has a very nice house down your way. So we'll see what he decides to do. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of opportunities in those markets, specifically.
Yeah. Cool. So let me ask you, were you an athlete growing up? Has being in the athletic world been a big thing for you before getting into this part of the business?
I played college baseball. I'm not sure that really lent itself to any, I think maybe one guy I played against might have played in MLB for like 2 seconds. I think it was a really good learning experience, and it teaches you a lot of things: leadership, teamwork, those sorts of things, which I think are invaluable. But I don't think the college baseball necessarily was sort of a direct crossover to working with athletes. It doesn't hurt for sure, to understand a little bit of what they do, but probably not so directly.
Okay. So, and I asked that question from the standpoint of we've got, 80 people on this call that, some of them have never played a sport. So, do they need to have played a sport? Do they need to be athletic? Do they need to have gone through that in college or high school in order to step into this kind of role?
No, and I think, these guys and girls aren't looking for, their bestie necessarily, in that you have to be exactly like them. I mean, you have to be you. I think authenticity is key. Nowadays, I mean, I think we'd probably all agree. There's so many fake designations, and everyone's a top producer of some kind and in some affinity group that they may or may not have really ever done anything in. So I think to be authentic is key. I mean, you're there to be their advisor, and that's number one. And to be clear, a number of guys I've helped out, I do a tremendous job. They're very happy, and I never see them again until it's time to either turn the lease over or sell the house. I mean, you're there to be their advisor at a very high level. So, you don't want to be the cool guy. You don't want to try to, have too much commonality with them right out of the gate. You're there to do a job at a very high level. and again, that can morph. I have, many good friends, in life who are athletes currently, in different leagues, just from, I think, appreciating the way I go about things, helping them in a city that's strange to them. That's always very helpful with somebody's childcare, with different things that they just need in their life, to make their transition easier. But again, if you can do that, then, their advisor loves you, their agency loves you. You just made the player's life easier, which means you made their life easier.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So with the people that you're working with, their manager or their agency, that's yet again another level of potential business, because if that manager has another client moving into the area and you've done a great job for the first client, clearly they're going to come to you with the second one.
Oh, for sure. And, I let them know that, once you build that relationship, I let them know, hey, if you need anybody in an open market, because again, they can have relationships with other agents in other markets. I don't want to step on those toes. But I say, if you have a need in a market where you're not sure, happy to, if I have somebody, I won't just tell you a name just to tell you a name. But if I have somebody great, I will absolutely connect you. And maybe that's a book story for one of these days, but there's somebody else in the book that, I was able to help connect some dots that led to a almost $10 million sale, for an athlete. And that was just, again, connecting the dots, with some different people who were involved. But you're right. I mean, any agency or advisor is going to have players in, many markets, if not all the major markets. So another great referral opportunity, for the right agents. Definitely.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about we hear the concierge in terms of like helping with hairdressers or schools or that kind of thing. But aside from that, what would you say would be the biggest way that you wow people, the biggest way that they feel like Paul is my one and only guy?
I think right from the start, when I take these guys out, I have a little goodie bag that's branded that has, everything they need. Because again, oftentimes they're coming here for a day, maybe two. We're just hitting some places. Going to have water, going to have caffeine, going to have snacks, going to have a backup battery charger. Because I think it's one small way of saying, I know the challenges to look out for, and I'm already prepared. Because I'll tell you, more than once, guys have been like, I don't need this. I have a this, and I have my cable and whatever. I'm like, well, you know what, man, just keep it, because I don't want you to get divorced because your phone dies halfway through a Zoom with your wife. And that same person who told me he didn't need it, he's like, oh crap, like actually this is a rental. It doesn't have the plug that I need. Yeah, I totally need this. So just small ways that, you've been there, you've done that, you know what to look out for, you're prepared, and you're looking out for them. You're going to see the hurdles before they come. And again, I think those are small things, but I think they add up that, that they really give confidence to these people that they can trust you.
How much research are you doing before somebody shows up? Like you get a client who's coming in to buy a property. How much research goes in before they show up? What does that look like?
For the real estate or for the person?
Yeah, both.
I mean, for the person, to be honest, not a ton. Again, I don't want to come in like, oh my God, bro, you were so great in college. You ran for 25 touchdowns. No, like you don't want to be a fanboy, right? I feel like that discredits you right off the bat. I mean, you're not looking for selfies. You're not looking for things signed, which I think are obvious, but you're there to do a job, and it also helps to know where some of the guys live. And I'm not going to tell anybody's story that shouldn't be told or maybe isn't public-ish knowledge. Super helpful to know, oh, well, you know what? The GM lives, this just happened. The GM lives 4 doors down that way. Your old teammate lives right next door. To be able to know those things. And some are public knowledge. I wouldn't tell anybody's story that, is kind of a secret. That also, I think, really helps with credibility, that you sort of know, where they want to live, where some of the teammates are. I think that's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I would say that's very helpful. And it just shows your expertise and your level of understanding of their world.
And a quick segue, I think you said you're going to New York tomorrow or today?
Yeah. Today.
I'll make it today. I'll make a suggestion. I don't know where are you flying into?
Well, I think JFK.
This isn't for everybody because some people don't like heights and some other things. Points of commonality that you can relate to that person, huge. So what I would do if I were you, fly to JFK, use Blade. It's an air mobility service. It's a helicopter service. For $150, because it'll be your first flight, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
They pick you up in a black car right at the terminal. They take you to the helipad. You go up in the heli, 11 minutes. They drop you at the West 30th helipad, where they have the Blade Lounge. It's right next to Hudson Yards. Drinks are included. You can get water, cappuccino, tequila soda, whatever you'd like, all included. And the networking there, off the chart. I've met hedge fund managers there. Mr. Kraft has been there. It's also the jumping off spot to the Hamptons. But to be able to relate, to be able to have those stories, that's also where they leave for, a very famous white party every year, that Michael Rubin throws, to sort of just understand that and to have maybe taken it. Cause look, if you're going to do an Uber into the city, going to take you at least 45 minutes, going to cost you at least $75.
Right.
This is double, but it's an experience. The views are amazing. Drinks included, and to have that experience that, oh, I've done that. Oh yeah, West 30th helipad. Oh, it's great. Yeah, Hudson Yards is right there. X, Y, and Z. To be able to have those stories, I think it is super helpful. Also, when relating to these guys sometimes, because it might come up about jets and flying and helicopters, to be able to have really lived that, also super, super helpful.
That's a great suggestion. I'm going to look at that. And how fun would that be? That'd be really fun. So
super fun. It's really good for the gram. Like, it's great, great photos, great videos you'll get coming in, over the river. And it's a fun experience, so it's hard to beat. I would look into it.
All right. I'm definitely going to. So is that something that you do, things like that regularly?
When I can. I'm closer to New York. So if I do go to New York, 100%, I try to use Blade, to go in there. And, there are other kind of private aviation services that are really nowhere near as expensive as people think, that depending on where you're located and what your budget might be, and really how flexible you are, there are some really great opportunities. There's a company called JSX, short for Jet Suite, no monthly fee, and they run super reasonable flights. Sadly, not so much out of the Northeast. They just fly out of Westchester, but more Midwest, Texas, Arizona, California. You can hop on a flight for maybe $300.
Wow.
And they have retrofitted, 30 passenger jets that were 64 passenger jets that fly mostly out of private terminals, that are super great. There's a company that's newer now called, Vaunt, V-A-U-N-T. That's $995 to sign up for the year, but they have almost every day, probably 12 to 15 empty legs. They fly smaller 4-passenger Honda jets, but you get the whole jet. So depending on where you are in the queue, you say, oh, I want that flight. And you get it. Again, if you're in the queue and there are certain rules, but it's you. And you can bring 3 friends. You can fly by yourself. And you're flying typically out of private terminals. And I can tell you for a fact, I had a $3 million listing appointment not that long ago that probably was going well anyway. But the woman mentioned that her in-law flies her down to the New York area-ish private whenever she goes to see her daughter.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh, do you fly to Teterboro or Morristown? Where do you go to? Oh, Teterboro. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, have you been? Oh, absolutely. What do you fly? And then all of a sudden, the conversation just took I'll say it took a turn, but all of a sudden you could tell she's like, oh, okay. And I'm just telling her some travel hacks. And, have you tried this service? Have you done Blade? No. Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm so glad you told me that. And then all of a sudden it became easier. She Zooms with her daughter. Oh, yeah. Paul's flown to Teterboro too. He said the Citation 10 is really great. It just became a lot easier from there. And that was just from, just fun life experience, but also the commonality that if you've been where they've been, all of a sudden there's going to be a much higher comfort level of, well, he does what I do. Oh, and again, I think most people have a high, viewpoint of themselves. Like, oh, well, if he does what I do, he has to be good. Okay. And, that was a $3 million penthouse. So.
Yeah, those are great suggestions. I absolutely, literally my brain is going. One time, just for kicks, we have a place in Colorado. So I thought, what would it cost to do a private jet to Colorado with my family and some friends? I thought this would be really a cool experience. The bill, the quote came back at $40,000. I was like, well, I'm not that interested in that. So, I'm definitely going to look up some of your suggestions here, but what a great experience, business or non-business. It sounds like a great experience. And then absolutely to be able to have that in your toolbox of things to talk about with high-end clients.
Great. It's a great life experience because, look, life is short. If you do it right, you can do it relatively affordably. And the people you meet on the planes, I took one flight just because I saw a flight pop up. I said, I'll go to New York today. Ended up meeting these two brothers. We get on the plane and I don't get too chatty at first. It was just the three of us. And then we said, hey, how are you? Oh, what do you do? Oh, our family business is real estate. Oh, okay. I said, well, funny. So I'm in real estate. They own a couple of buildings in Manhattan. And by buildings, these are very tall buildings. His brother was in town from Israel. They were just doing a little thing. He picked him up in Boston. And that became a good connection. We're connected now and hopefully I might sell them something up here. But again, you're on the plane with these guys and that flight cost me, I think, $260.
Wow.
Again, that was 24-hour notice. You have to be flexible. But it was a great day to fly, on a very nice jet and made a huge, really good connection. If you think what we spend nowadays on Zillow, Homes.com, all these other crazy platforms, I would challenge everyone to take a little piece of that and put it towards more of these kind of lifestyle things, because and I'm sure many of us do, but whether it's aviation, whether it's cars, whether it's something, really kind of diving into that. Because like I said, the aviation piece really isn't that expensive. And JSX would fly you to Colorado. You'd probably have to hop through a couple markets. You'd probably have to go to Texas. Might have to go Texas, Arizona, and then Colorado. But it would probably be more like $1,000 a person.
Right. Which is much more reasonable.
much better than 40,000.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So with these people, these clients or potential clients that are, do have these big lives, how do you stay in touch with them? As you're trying to get them as your clients, let's say, they're thinking about who they're going to use. They haven't committed to you yet. What does that follow-up look like? Because I'm sure some people are thinking, they're busy. I don't want to bother them. So how do you do that without feeling like you're just intruding?
I kind of feel like they're like anyone else. And I will say, at least with the athlete piece, can be easier in a sense where their need is pretty immediate. So, I mean, they're really not shopping around for the most part to a lot of different people. They get traded, they sign with the team. Hopefully you're connected to someone in their agency or maybe a teammate, and then you're trying to get that connection, pretty immediately. But no, I mean, I think for the most part, these people want to be treated. I don't think you can pussyfoot around it too much because you're the expert,
Okay.
or you better feel like you're the expert. And I will say, I don't think it's always true of like, kind of staying in your lane. I think you need to treat them like any other client. You're the expert. You need to be able to educate them on the market. And I just had another client, athlete, who at first was thought might not be able to buy what they wanted to buy. And I said, "Look, hold on." To the advisor, I said, 24 hours. I think it's very possible, but let's just see. And even though it meant not using the person that this advisor had usually used, I said, "Look, I think I have another avenue. As long as it's okay with you, I think we can get this done." And I said, "Yeah, for sure. I want what's best for my guy." And we made it happen. We turned a situation that, they thought was not going to be possible into something very possible. And we closed in 3 weeks. Because again, as the expert, you sort of know. I will say, you do have to defer a bit sometimes to the advisor just to say, "Hey, I'm thinking this," and maybe give them a little bit of a heads up, I would say. But no, I mean, you're the advisor. Granted, they might be an athlete, they might be an actress, an actor, but they're hiring you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you just can't be kind of a yes person.
Great. So definitely we can't act starstruck and we can't let them totally run the show. We still have to do our job as if they were anybody else and give them the advice that we would give anybody in that situation.
For sure.
Okay. Awesome. So now you've put them in a house, whether it's a rental or a purchase or what have you. How do you stay in touch with them? How do you keep the relationship going?
Well, you know where they live. So, I mean, it's very easy to get follow-up, send them things, card, what have you. Depending on price point, if it's a rental or a sale, I have a private chef who is tremendous in the Boston area that I will use to do a private dinner for, let's say, the player and the wife, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, family. That's pretty huge. I think they really appreciate it. That can be for two people, depending on the menu, $1,000 or so. And that includes wine and some other things. But again, it's the investment into that relationship where I did that for a player, and I mean, he really, really appreciated it. And we were friends anyway, but even better friends since then. I've been to Texas to his birthday party a couple months ago, where again, you're seeing a bunch of his teammates who are also potential clients, and you just become the guy that they see. Like, oh yeah, that's Paul. Oh yeah, he's a real estate guy everyone uses. Oh, I need to call Paul. But so that's one way. Sometimes little things. When they have, there's a company that makes these really cool knitted booties, but they look like sneakers.
Okay.
So they look like Yeezys, they look like Air Jordans, huge people, big fans. And almost every time they will post on Instagram with the kid wearing them and tag you, which is awesome. And those are like maybe $30 a pair.
Oh, wow.
So those are really great. And again, just a bit of a follow-up. I'm not going to hound the guys, but just reminding them if they need anything, I'm here. Whether sending them the little booties or sending them whatever I think they might need, again, with no expectation of anything in return. Just, hey man, like here's something, here's whatever. I mean, that's been pretty successful for me through the years.
Nice. And Paul, are you the one coming up with the ideas? That's one thing that I think that I struggle with is like, I'd be happy to send you a gift, but I just don't know what to send. Like even a regular friend's birthday party, I struggle. Like, are you the one doing that or do you have somebody that does that for you?
No, it's me. I mean, I think that's probably one of my strengths. And I know I talked with Jason Abrams a while back that he thought I should have a gifting company.
Okay.
Just for realtors to help them with gifts because some people don't know what to send. I've had someone before, I helped steer in the right direction, but their idea of what the appropriate gift would have been was, pretty wildly off the mark. And I said, no, we can't do that. No, I think you need things that are, they don't always have to be the most expensive, but I think there is, sort of this, you have to have something that is not always easily available, something you can just go to the store and get.
Mm-hmm.
I think the value is really diminished. How personalized it is to them is important. And the cost, like I said, the little booties are like $30. Mm-hmm. They look amazing, but they're $30. But you can't just walk into a store and buy them. They're personal to obviously the child and the size, but also kind of the vibe of the sneaker. Yeah. So I come up with all of those, but.
Crystal?
I'm trying to find her.
Sorry about that, guys.
1 second. I don't know who it is.
I got her.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Sorry. We're back to you, Paul.
But no, I think it's finding those things that are a little exclusive. They don't always have to be the most expensive. I mean, so sometimes they're a little expensive, depending if someone likes wine and you want to get them a nice bottle of wine. Not always going to be cheap. Or like I said, with the private chef. But again, if you're selling them a $2 million house, as we know, there are no standard commissions. But let's just say, for example, I sold them those 2.5%. Okay. Like there's certainly, enough dollars there that I can